So let's begin with the update and the statement by President Trump. Another day and another statement. Now, President Trump, however, doesn't seem to be denying this time that there would be a prolonged and sustained war, because he believes that militarily most of the objectives of the United States of America has been achieved in this conflict, which is now on its 33rd day. Now, is there a possibility, because what was being said, that the President of the United States will be addressing the nation tomorrow, Indian Standard Time, approximately 6:30 in the morning. So will that be the big announcement that he makes remains to be seen. But this is what he has said.
Along the strait, but if they want something, but I would say that within 2 weeks, maybe 3, we're hitting them very hard. Last night we knocked out tremendous amounts of missile-making facilities. As you probably read or wrote, we knocked out. Excuse me.
Pardon me for interrupting. The U.S. will be gone or done with the war in 2
I think
weeks?
with 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, Srinjoy, good morning. As far as President Trump is concerned, it's no telling exactly what he will be giving out as a statement, maybe tomorrow or day after. But it seems that today he is of the opinion that in the coming 2 to 3 weeks, the U.S. operations, as far as in Iran is concerned, may end.
That's what he's saying. But what does he leave behind? That's also important to note. Will Iran and Israel continue to keep fighting? That's the first thing. If that does happen, that's only a partial end to the war with the Americans pulling out. Yes, it's a big improvement. I mean, in the sense that the Americans will be pulling out, so it's just Iran and Israel. But even then, it is still going to be difficult. Also, secondly, what does he leave behind vis-a-vis the Strait of Hormuz? Will that continue to happen? Will Iran continue to block the Strait of Hormuz?
Yes.
And then how will all the Gulf nations deal with it? How will Kuwait deal with it? How will Bahrain deal with it? How will the UAE deal with it? These are things that have to be kept in mind. Thirdly, let's assume that the Americans leave and the war comes to an end. What happens then? Iran had spoken about reparations, said that America has to repay Iran for all the damages caused. Now, the president had spoken very clearly about destroying the Iranian Navy, destroying the Iranian Air Force, destroying the air defense systems, destroying much of the missiles, destroying nuclear capability, destroying the drones, also killing the leaders, top leadership. Now, if Iran goes to the United States with a bill,
yes,
what is America going to say? What is the president going to say? So these things have to be kept in mind, that while the war could well end in 2 weeks, or at least from the president's point of view.
So let me get an expert point of view on this. Srinjoy, please do stay on with us. Major General A.K. Sivach is connected with us. Sir, good morning. President Trump this time hinting at the possibility of exiting the war zone in Iran. But would it only lead to, as far as partial pullout is concerned, because Israel still wants very much the war to continue?
No doubt about it. You know, there are 3 players in this war, that is U.S., Israel and Iran. As far as U.S. is concerned, Donald Trump is feeling the heat of the war. He wants to exit from the war, but he wants an honorable exit, which he is not able to get it so far. As far as Israel is concerned, it wants to continue in this war. It wants the military capability of Iran to be degraded further. And therefore, this is a very important thing, that as far as Israel and U.S., they are both not on the same page. And Donald Trump wants to come out of the war, whereas Netanyahu wants this war to continue. And also remember that countries like Saudi and UAE, they are also pressurizing U.S. to keep on fighting till the time the military capability are further downgraded of Iran, because they feel that Iran is going to be quite a big threat after the war stops. So therefore, this is what's happening. As on today, the U.S. biggest threat is, what do they do? Do they bring boots on ground? Do they capture Kharg? In case they try to capture Kharg Island, there are going to be very heavy casualties. That's what today's dilemma is there as far as Donald Trump is concerned, and is trying to rope in NATO countries, UK, France, but none of them is ready to come. They are saying that is not a NATO war.
Yes.
It was never a US war, it was an Israel war. And Article 5 of NATO is not attracted because Article 5 only talks
And
about
even over the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump has made it clear that it is not our problem. It is the problem of those countries who have been affected because of the closure, because he appealed to them that come and sort out the issue and we'll join you in that. But multiple countries snubbed that very offer. And President Trump seems to be very irked at this development. Thank you very much, Sivat sir, for your point of view. But what President Trump has now been hinting, a possible exit plan soon, because there are signs somewhere that he says of a possible escalation that may also happen. Boots on the ground is something that could be as a possible last resort, but seemingly is now looking like they not be, in a situation to take, as this option to be very favorable for the United States of America. But is the U.S. now trying to distance itself from the conflict because mainly it believes that the objectives have been achieved? This is what President Trump, as of now, says.
$4, yeah, and we have a country that's not going to be throwing a nuclear weapon at us in 6 months.
But Americans are feeling the effects in the interim.
And they're also feeling a lot safer.
What is the plan to bring them back down?
All I have to do is leave Iran, and we'll be doing that very soon. And they'll become tumbling down. And stock prices were up today almost to a record because they know two things. Number one, we have a safe country. We had to take a little detour because we had a madman named Khomeini who sadly is no longer with us. And we had regime change already. We've knocked out one regime, then we knocked out the second regime. Now we have a group of people that are very different. They're much more reasonable, I think much less radicalized. We've had regime change. We're dealing with people that are much more rational, and it's amazing what we've done.
Well, Shrinja, if you were hearing President Trump, the irony when he says that Khomeini, sadly, who is not amongst us anymore. I mean, wasn't that one of the objectives of a possible regime change? But that hasn't happened. But the entire leadership, at least the first rung, has been wiped out.
President Trump talks of a regime change. Now, there's been no regime change. But you could argue there's been a leadership change. The supreme leader, Khomeini, Ali Khamenei is dead. Ali Lariani is dead. Other leaders are dead. But they have been replaced by junior leaders in top positions. So as a result, there's been no regime change. The same organizations are still in place. The Revolutionary Guard is still calling the shots. All of that is there. What we have seen is a change in leadership because, as he has said, and in this case he's right, that the top leadership has been eliminated. The second rung has been eliminated to a large extent. So what you have is the third rung. But strangely enough, it's the third rung which is probably less amenable to a solution. The senior leaders had seen a little more of the world, and what we hear is they were more understanding of the situation as a result of their experience and seniority and so on. Nevertheless, it's important to see what President Trump says tomorrow. That's really the main thing. All this is a wait for President Trump's statement on Iran tomorrow. Is he pulling out? Is he not pulling out? Is he pulling out in 2 weeks? Is it going to take longer? These are things that he is going to spell out. And if he does pull out, what does it mean for Israel? What does it mean for the Strait of Hormuz?
He's already said, thrown his hands up in the air, saying, not my responsibility. Those countries who have been affected, well, they take responsibility for the safe passage of their oil tankers, because he appealed to them. He urged them to join in, but they refused and they snubbed. Well, they may later have to pay the price. That is what President Trump says, because he will not forget and he will remember. That seems to be as far as the war rhetoric that has also been taking place, Roy, because this seems to be at a hands-off approach, because as far as the ally of Iran is concerned, China was also appealed to mediate.